Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm gamesplaining Clank in Space. If you watched my videos last week, you will have seen me gamesplain Clank. So I'll really quickly run through the stuff that's the same as Clank. If you watched those videos before, I'll try and remember to put a little tab on this video so you can jump forward to the bit where I get to the differences. This is Clank in Space. So, the basic premise of the game is it's a deck building game. For those who haven't come across deck building before, what that means is everyone starts with an identical hand of 10 cards. You will shuffle them up and deal yourself 5 cards to start with. This is your draw pile. These are the cards you're going to play. Out of the cards you're playing, you will have some that have things on the bottom of them, and I'll talk about that in a moment. You will have some purchasing power, and you may have some markings that allow you to move or fight, and I'll talk about them in a moment. So with this, I have 4 purchasing power. From that 4 purchasing power, I can purchase something that values up to 4 in this row of cards that are available. So I might draw this one. I'll purchase that, put it into my hand, and put that into my discard pile. Notice I do not get any bonuses from that card straight away. I would then deal another card into the main row. I'll deal with that in a moment, and the next person's turn. When it gets back to me, I will go for the next 5 cards and use them to purchase cards, move, do what it says on the bottom, and then I've only got 3 purchase power this time, so I'll purchase something that's maybe up to a value 3, say for example that one. That goes into the discard pile as well. On my next turn, because I can't draw any more cards, I shuffle the cards, my discard pile. That then becomes my draw pile. I deal myself 5 new cards, and notice one of the cards I picked up in the last couple of rounds has come through, giving me a higher purchase value as well as a movement, as well as a potential bonus, and therefore my entire deck is slightly stronger, thus the name deck building. That is the essence of a deck building game. That's how pretty much all of them will play. Our aim is we are all Master Thieves, or Space Master Thieves in this case. We need to move from our starting position all the way over to this end of the spaceship to steal one of the artifacts that belongs to the boss. Once we've stolen one of those artifacts, and only one, we then need to escape to one of the 4 available escape pods. Anyone who gets into this board before they die will still get their points scored for them. If you don't manage to get at least onto this board, you'll get no points no matter what you have managed to grab. You'll notice the artifacts available have points on them from 5 up to 30. The ones that are 30 and 25 and 20, they're a lot harder to get to than the ones that are 5 and 15 and possibly even 10, depending which way you come in. And so it's up to you to work out if you're going to grab one of the lesser point ones with the hopes of getting back out of the ship before anyone else and hopefully destroying them before they can get out, or if you want to go a bit deeper and get the higher point ones and take a little bit more time about moving around the ship. You saw those boot icons coming through earlier. Whenever you have one boot icon, that allows you to move from the room you're in to the next room. There are little pipes that go between rooms. If you're here and you want to go to here, you need to get 2 of the boots within the same hand of 5 cards. So if I had that, I could then move from here to here. Whenever you go into a new room, you'll take the bonus token. You can only take 1 if there's 2 available. You only take the top one on the pile. If there's a icon of the little robot faces, you will need to have these sword icons on the cards you're playing. So 1 sword per robot face to get through them. If you don't have those, you will take damage by moving down those corridors. So if there's 1 robot face, you'll take 1 damage. If there's 2, you'll take a 2nd damage. Once your damage token gets to the end, you are dead. There's nothing you can do about it. Some of the tunnels or pipes have a lock on them. In order to move through those ones, you will need to purchase a key. That will cost you 7 money. In order to purchase, you'll need to go to one of the spots with that icon. Purchasing anything from the store will cost you 7 money. There are various things that will cause the boss monster to get angry. One of those things is stealing one of his artifacts. So when you steal an artifact, he'll move up that track. If you steal one of these tiles or get one of these tiles that has that icon on it, that will also push the boss monster up the track. What moving up the track does is causes you to pull out more cubes whenever you get attacked. So when are we going to get attacked? Well, that was that card I pulled earlier. Any card that has this icon on the bottom of it means that you'll take all of the cubes in the Clank area. These are the cubes in the Clank area. Everything that's there will get put into the bag, which has the funky little thing of the boss monster on it. And then at the moment the boss monster is on the 3, so we'll draw 3 of the cubes. Black ones means no one gets hurt, so they're kind of neutral. And then orange will take 1 damage and orange gets his cube back. Looking at the cards, there are a few other icons on there other than the skill and the feat, which you can spend to buy other cards. When you're purchasing other cards, you add up all those numbers that you've got in your hand and put them against the number. This is the cost of each card in the bottom right hand corner. Anything that's got a green circle and a number in it, that's points at the end of the game. So if you've got these in your hand at the end of the game, you'll get those points. Other icons, this sword icon allows you to defeat any monsters. For example, if this one turns out, so we replenish, whenever someone purchases one of the cards, we replenish it from the deck. Whenever one of these ones is there, it'll take some swords to be able to defeat it, and whoever defeats it gets the bonuses written on the card. That doesn't come into your hand. That the ones with the red tops are the only ones that don't come into your hands. The other ones will come into your hand and work their way through your deck eventually. Other cards have words like acquire, and that means when you take them or purchase them from the row into your discard pile, you actually get that bonus as a one-off bonus, and then when it comes through your hand, you'll get that again. Some of them have this danger marking on them, and that is ongoing. While this card exists in the row, you've got the problem where you're going to be drawing an extra cube every time the boss attacks, over and above where the boss is up to on his track. And the arrive marking means when that gets turned out of this deck into the track, arrives in the track, that's when this happens. So everyone at the table would be affected by cards like that. Now let's turn our attention to the bits that are different from the original Clank game. So to start with, the board is modular. Each piece is double-sided, so you can set them up. There are 3 modules going to go in. There are only 3 of them in existence, but all 3 are going to go in. They could go in any order and on any side. So theoretically, there's quite a large number of different variations on how the board will be set up. There are also escape pods. There are 4 escape pods. So it's 4 different locations you're trying to get to in order to get out of the game at the end and get your 20 points, rather than everyone trying to just get back to their starting position. Which means that if 2 people are here trying to get to this one and one of them takes it, the other one's going to have to go and get to the next one up, or whichever one is available. You'll notice that there's this little marking at pretty much every location that crosses over into this area of the board. In order to go past there, you have to have one of these tokens. The only way to get one of these tokens is to place these 2 cubes. The way you place these 2 cubes, if you get into one of the rooms that has a little green square next to it, you'll place the cube, you'll take the bonus or the punishment that is in that spot. So in that case, that's 2 money. That's what money looks like in this game. And then you'll need to place the other one. But you can't place the second one in the same quadrant or sector of the game board. You'll need to go to this sector or this sector to place your second one. Once you've moved through somewhere and placed your second cube and taken the benefit from underneath it, that is when you will get this token showing that you're allowed to go off into the final sector of the board. But it also has that little marking on the bottom, which makes the boss angry again. The other thing you'll notice on the angry boss track is there these red cubes and this token. When the boss gets to here, you take that red cube and put it into the bag. Whenever that cube is drawn, everyone takes damage, and then this red cube gets put back in the bag. When the boss gets up to here, you take this token and place it there. What that does is stops you from using this section of the board. What is that section of the board, I hear you ask? That is called the hyperlift. The way the hyperlift works is, while that's not there, if you move into any of the 4 spots along the hyperlift, you can immediately go to one of the other spots. Once you've done that, however, you can't continue to move. You have to take the rest of the turn off to get a breather. So when that token is in, what that means is I can't just grab the hyperlift from here to here and escape. The closest I can get is there. I'm still going to have to go through a portion of the ship in order to be able to get out. One other thing with movement, as with the original game, there are spots where you have to stop. So whenever you hit one of these rooms that has the little red slashy lines, that's called security room. They work just like ice chasms in the original game. You have to stop at those points. The other way you can move around the ship is through use of the telepads. These guys here are the telepads. You're able to go from one telepad to any other telepad, assuming, of course, I've got the token to get across that line. But in order to do that, you have to have purchased the telepass. And just like with the hyperlift, you need to stop wherever you end up. You can't keep moving once you've gone there. Thematically, it causes dizziness. The other major different element from the base game, or from the original game of Clank, is this little corner on the card. That is the marking for your faction. There are 3 factions in the game. A lot of the cards have something that is faction dependent. So if in my hand of 5 cards, I had a second card that I was playing from the same faction, it's shown just on the bottom here, I would also get to do the whatever's written in the bottom section, which in this case is everyone else would add 2 Clank to the Clank. The other couple of really small elements are there's an extra couple of things in the shop. This one is a shopping basket, which will give you 10 points at the end of the game, but that can also be used to enable some of the actions on some of the cards that may come through the deck. So it's sometimes valuable to have. I'll let you make the decision on that one. And this one gives you heals 2 portions of your strength immediately when you purchase it. So don't purchase it if you've already got full strength, but also it's worth 5 points at the end of the game. They are all limited. There are also these crystals. These crystals will be picked up at rooms that show the crystal. They are also used to enact some of the benefits on the bottom of some of the cards that are hidden in the deck. Noticing that whenever you go into a room that has an icon on it, you'll get something from that icon, whatever the icon is, if it's hearts or crystals or a token. And as with the base game, the Goblin and these other 2 are always available for purchase, and there's a potential that this Goblin will get flipped over and be harder to defeat later in the game, depending on when that card comes up, and that will be turned over by another card in the deck. So don't worry too much about that, but by defeating him, he's always there. You can defeat him as many times as you like for 1 money. Okay, I think that's about everything for Clank in Space. I hope this helps you get Clank in Space to the table. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you have any games that you wish to be gamesplaned, please shoot me an email at thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at thegamesplainer to keep up to date with the games that I'm playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.